So now we're starting the pre-show dojo. And with my host, of course, the Blues. So, yeah, we're here. We're doing it. We're in the zone. Earlier I had educated the European peasants on my coffee. I was reading it off. I was reading off the goodness of it. Stuff they can't get in that hemisphere. High quality, delicious coffee. It's just
tea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they drink tea. So I guess that's a. They don't drink coffee like us Americans. They drink tea. And I'm sure that goes for all of them. I judge them all by Corvid and Krillin. So they're all like them. And I guess Pan, even though Pan's from Ireland. So she's Irish. So she doesn't count. So what do we got planned for today, Blues? You actually wrote the script, which I'm proud of you because I was doing college homework, which I was supposed to be doing last night after we RP'd, but I got drunk.
Yeah, like a square.
Yeah, I fucking don't like how this. Square. I don't like how any of this is going. Like, I can't keep up with my characters anymore. I might just give you ROM stats, Blues. I don't think I can do.
Give somebody their stats.
I can't really do anything with them right now. Even if I
can't just give somebody your stats, though.
Who says who? It's not in the rules. Where's it in the rules?
If that was the case, Pan could just give fucking.
Where is it in the rules that you can give stats?
Exactly.
Well, if it doesn't say you can or can't, then obviously you can. That's the conclusion you have to go by. It just makes the most sense. So.
No, it does not.
So. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, my attention is divided in 4 different ways, and mostly it's going to school right now. I got school, my non-existent workout routine, which I've never been able to even fucking get to the past 2 weeks, except for the walks I did, which were those were long-ass walks on the beach. So, I got school, physical fitness, which is failing. I haven't even really touched Zeta, and then at the end of it, finally comes Legends. And I haven't even gotten to the other things yet. So this is just ridiculous at this point. I didn't, when I thought I quit my job, I thought I'd have plenty of time to do everything. But the amount of schoolwork I have to do is just ridiculous. I mean, for one class, they want you to do eight things, and there was more last week. So I got all my homework done except for this one class, and I still have 8 things to do. Then I got to go back into Unix, on the putty or whatever the fuck that thing is, and I got to redo my stuff on there so I get a better grade because I went into that putty Unix thing where it's just mimicking, or I don't know what it's part of the Unix system. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I kind of understand it just because I know computers, but I'm kind of like learning as I go. And I didn't do so well. I kind of get it now, but I don't know. It's a very unforgiving operating system. Very, very unforgiving. If you don't know what you're doing, it literally, it's going to piss you off if you don't know what you're doing.
You just got to get good.
Some damn good coffee, though. I think it needs to be watered down a little bit. I figured I should try to be more sober for the podcast because it's okay if I'm drunk and I'm excited or I'm have a lot of energy, but when I get on and I'm like kind of zoning out, that's not good because you zone out all the time. Somebody has to be the high energy, podcaster. Blues is always zoning out or playing like fucking Tomb Raider or some dumb shit. It's not good. Not good, Blues. And you stop playing Tomb Raider, focus on the podcast. So, let's see.
That's the sound of crickets chirping as Blues does not respond.
Yeah, of course. I don't know where did it Blues even go. So let me. Let's see. Am I even here? What happened? Okay, I'm back, so it's good now.
Apparently.
Where is Blues? I think I already said that. Blues, where are you? I need you to share with me the podcast script. So that way we can kind of prepare ourselves. I think I'm talking to myself here. Or Iona, basically. Oh man. Yawning on the pre-show's not good. It's not how you get. That's not how you get OnlyFans. It's not how you get anything. Is that Blues? You lazy bum! I need your help.
What?
I need you to send me the podcast script. Need you to get pumped up about the pre-show dojo. Need you to be excited. You're not excited, Blues. We're not gonna win OnlyFans if you keep,
The fuck?
being low energy. We need higher energy.
You know what OnlyFans is?
I mean, we can make it our own thing. We're gonna have our own OnlyFans, and they're gonna be great because they're only our fans. You see how it works?
No. OnlyFans is for bitches to send nudes.
I mean, we don't have to send them nudes, but I mean, you could send them like a strip tease.
No,
Okay.
that's what it's for. Nudes.
Oh.
It's literally like a porn site.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that lewd, but I mean, you can send them a little strip tease now
Nobody's
and then.
gonna pay for it.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe if we get super famous, they will. They'll like want a photo of you like sipping like, I don't know, a coffee or something. I don't know. All right, so here's a script. We're good. Okay. Now you got me yawning. All right. Don't understand why.
How you gonna get famous though?
Say what?
But how you gonna get famous though?
I don't really want to be famous. I would like to see this.
I'm saying for the OnlyFans plan to work, how are we gonna get famous?
We don't have to be famous. Look what Alex was able to get titties flashed at him for stats. We can be that famous.
What?
Yeah, you never heard that story?
No.
I heard that Alex, which I like Alex. I don't. Everybody here hates him, so I'm gonna stick up for the guy because none of you fuckers ever ran a site for that long. Bunch of losers. So I want to be with the winners, and Alex is a winner. So is Arena Vegeta. So I'm with the winners. The winners. Okay.
Is he even running his site anymore?
Rom.
What?
You say that, and yet here you are with us.
Listen, I'm trying to help elevate you to their level. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, and I'm building my own site. So what I would want is both sites to be pretty successful, and people can go interchange between. They can go between the sites. So it's like two different universes. It makes sense. Then I have my room, the RP, and Blues has his room. So you see, it's going to work out perfectly. And when we become famous enough, we could get titties shown to us for stats too, if we please. Now, I'm too classy for that, of course, but I know Blues is going to do that. He's going to get some weeb girl to flash her titties, and he's going to give him stats. Because that's how Blues rolls. I'm not judging him. But, I mean, it's not as classy as what I would do. You know, I'm a man of culture. Ah, that was some good water. I'm drinking water on the podcast. That's.
I think Alex is yeah, his site's still up.
Yeah, that guy's never going. I actually have his book. I got it right here. Creating an online role-playing game.
I wonder what host they use.
They might use Pro Boards or one of them.
No, I don't think they use Pro Board.
His real name is Alexander Hinckley.
Hinckley.
He's creating an online role-playing game. I don't know. Can we legally read his book on the? Yeah, I guess we can because I did purchase it. Creating an online RPG takes a lot of time, hard work, and technical knowledge about balanced game mechanics. While I cannot instill you these first two requirements, I can teach you a bit about the mechanics of things. First, let me tell you a little about myself and my site. At the time of this writing, I am the owner of an online RPG named Alex RBG. What? Alex is DBZ RPG 5. So I'm gonna assume this is the 5th incarnation of it. It is a forum-based play-by-post PvP role-playing game set in a unique version of the world based on the popular anime. You could have said popular anime DBZ. It doesn't really. I created this site June 1st, 2000, so it's been running for over 9 years. So this book must have come out in 2009, so a lot of the stuff in it is kind of outdated, but I still think that he has some good knowledge. Because unlike any of you, he's ran a site forever, so he has to have some kind of knowledge that you guys don't. Because he's big-brained. He has a bigger brain than you guys. You see how it works? I'm trying to get the information.
You see, what you've done here, Rom, is you've been scammed by an Egypt to allow people to pay him money to get stats in a broken system. To make him pay him money. Congratulations, you've just small-brained yourself.
Hey,
Smooth-brained
he's got to have some knowledge.
Yeah, he knows how to hustle, and it's not in the book.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, in this side of the community, not a lot of people like him, but I like to be. My honest opinion is I'm kind of neutral because he was always cool with me when I was on his site. You know, he was never a dick or did anything wrong to me, so I'm not. Even though everybody, like from Tim to Iona to Blues, say they don't like him, I can't really.
I don't. I'm neutral either.
I found his website, showed up on the whatever the fuck chat he was using to say hello, and got banned instantly because he ID'd me as someone from Anthology. And that was my entire interaction. Yeah,
that's not good. You know, and he probably back then he was a little bit more cocky because he had so many people he had the luxury of doing that. So, you know.
He had an echo chamber of fucking yes men at the time who told him
I'm sure he did. That's not very unusual for a site, though it's not the best thing. You want people who, when you're gonna make a bad decision, they can actually tell you. You know.
I know, right, Ron?
Ideally, I mean, look, I don't mind criticism as long as it's not like concern trolling or malicious, or it's like meant. You know, if it's meant in a constructive way, and sometimes if I feel it's not in a constructive way, that's when I get pissed at people. You know?
And you get pissed at people chatting in the brackets when you're role playing.
I do, because they never do it when I'm not there.
And then you start doing it when they're role playing.
I barely do that though. Like I don't.
Literally this morning, like yesterday. I don't know how the time frame works with where you guys are.
Yeah, but I mean, I barely do it, and I definitely don't usually do it when people are active.
It's one of your big trigger behaviors that you don't like, and yet it's right there on the list of things you do. Well, we want to point out a thing that you got to lead by example, my dude. You don't have people chatting during your role plays. You got to not chat during theirs. There's some constructiveness for you.
Yeah, maybe I should. I mean,
Yeah,
the
Mr.
thing
Big
is,
Brain.
the thing is though, is that it happens. Like when I go in there and RP with Blues, then everybody just starts to fucking chat for no fucking reason. Like they weren't doing it before.
It's almost like the sudden split of activity causes people to go, "Oh yeah, I'm here. Hi, how we doing?" It's one of the reasons they have
Maybe.
a C box so that the site looks active, and it's almost like
Maybe.
people are predisposed to be the only person talking.
Yeah, maybe.
It's almost it's the same herding instinct that causes people to come in queues in the shop, even though they've all arrived at different times. Have all finished their shopping at different times, but they'll wait for that one fucking person to queue up first, and they'll all queue up behind him. Really annoying.
Maybe I was a little too harsh, but it's like when I'm trying to do a role play and you guys are talking about like fucking peanuts and you're jamming the fucking chat, it's not cool. It's not cool. So if I tell you, hey, cut the bracket chatter, maybe you should cut the bracket chatter. Where the fuck did Blues go?
I don't know. There was a lot of weird noises right before he suddenly went, so I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how to solve it because, yeah, I guess you are right. I mean, maybe that's how it is.
The only answer there, right now, if you don't want your roleplays being interrupted, put them in fucking forum. No one gives a shit when anyone roleplays on the forum. It's why everything I've done so far has gone completely unnoticed. I do mean literally unnoticed. I mean...
Yeah, nobody... I wish I had more time to do the forums because that's what I really wanted to focus on before I started school. Now it's like, I can't even do it, man. It's like...
Dude, I am literally writing for maybe 20 minutes a day.
For only 20 minutes a day?
Yep, that's Shihai right now, and he is skyrocketing. As long as it's like a dedicated, not like distracted as fuck. If you actually just put down like 20 minutes, you get like 700 fucking words or more out, and that builds up over a week, man.
Yeah, you might be right. I never thought of it like that before.
It's not about how much or how long you spend writing or what you do.
Rom want to do 15 different posts with like all the NPC characters. When I told him he could just do all of that in one post.
Well, the thing is too is
You clearly want a spectacle when you're playing because you want people to see it and go, oh, look at that.
I like spectacles. Spectacles are great, but yeah, for right now, I mean, one of the problems is we have a whole bunch of forum posts that need to get done too, like Dread Island. I should have.
Not like.
I should have. I don't even know what to do with those posts anymore, man. Because I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do them, so we might have to put them all on hold. Which then they're probably never gonna get done. Because I was really looking forward to Dread Island, but it's like, I mean, we just don't have. I don't have the time.
This is why I mostly just stick to one character. I mean, I could not handle multiple.
Yeah, I'm there now. It wasn't so bad. It wasn't bad when I was just working, and I could, dedicate a lot of my free time to it. But now it's like, ironically, even without a job, I'm kind of stretched thin.
It's because you're actually dedicating to your. Well, I'm assuming it's because you're dedicating to your schoolwork and not because you're getting pissed. But
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly because of school, and then when I'm done with schoolwork, I have to decide, well, do I want to work on Zeta or do I want to do this? And I'm like, well, the problem is the easy thing is to just go straight to Legends and fuck around in the C-Box. The hard thing is to sit down and actually work on the site. So it's like, generally I go in that order. I'm like, I do school, then I work on Zeta, and then I go on unless it's like something, I just have a huge urge to do something, or Blues messages me and he's like, hey, we got to do something. I'm like, yeah, we probably should. Because, when Blues, especially if I haven't done anything all week, if Blues hits me up, I'm like, yeah, I probably should. I should at least contribute my part, so that way I'm not leaving people hanging. It's like with Blues plot, you got Sorora. Rakutsu, you have Moth Violet. I mean, granted, she died, but, I mean, I would still like for her to eventually get back to Earth so they can RP, but it's going to take a while. So
I mean, currently I've been sent to Demon Realm to go. Oh shit! Sorry, dying in a game. Been sent to Demon Realm to go find out what the fuck's going on. So
we haven't even
possibly
got there
Shihai can
yet.
give her a lift out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, when they get there.
Well,
Big if we get there, that is.
it's going to be more interesting than even I thought, because I thought about it. I'm like, why don't I just get all my characters I have in Otherworld kind of involved in it, and then it'll be interesting. So that's why they met up with Raditz, and then Goku's down there. So eventually they're going to fight.
No, Goku would be up there, not down there. He would be in a completely different location.
Yeah, I mean Goku went down there with the other. Yeah, Goku went down
to
there.
fix the problem.
Yeah, with the Otherworld warriors, and I think what's happened on all four of them are going to get pushed into the portal, and then they kind of have to work together. And in this way, because one of the things with my Raditz, he never resolved his issues with Goku ever. Like, he was always kind of like the anti-Goku on Vegeta. So in this way, I can actually progress his plot beyond what I've ever done before, where maybe they become like cool with each other. And plus, they can do the Raditto fusion. So I'm like, it's kind of exciting to me. And I know if I'm excited about it, then it's going to be good. Because you got a lot going. You got the relationship between Raditz and Goku maybe changing. And then you got like kind of like Moth Yokai is kind of like the Demon Piccolo version, kind of mastered to Moth Violet, like, you know, like the kind of relationship with Gohan and Piccolo. So it's not a bad setup. And then if how do you say your character's name? Shihai? Shihai?
Just call him Sir Divine. It's quicker.
Sir Divine. Sir Divine. Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting if he's in the mix too. I don't know what he would do if he saw those people trying to take down Dabura, because I mean, Goku's just knowing Goku, he'll just go along and be like, "Oh, I want to fight the guys too," and then they'll be kind of like, Raditz won't like it, but Moth Violet will be like, "Well, he's the greatest fighter that Earth has ever known, so if he's gonna help us, why not?" You know. So, well, once Goku finds out what they're really wanting to do, like Moth Violet wants to stop, you know, demons from going back to Earth when she finally gets back there, and Goku will be kind of able to understand that, and plus she'll explain like how Sorora is on Earth safe, so then Raditz has to kind of think about, oh well, they saved her, so now he's kind of like, he's not gonna feel guilty at first, but he's gonna be kind of like conflicted, because it's like he wanted to destroy all his Earth family, but they ended up like helping and saving his daughter. So it's like,
okay, some of them are them. What happened is a fucking robot decided not to murk her and went, "You play nice, and I don't kill you."
yeah, that too. She's always mentioned the Corvids. She's either called them the Corvids or the Avians. So she's always mentioned that. She just hasn't interacted with them in some time. So
I haven't been playing them. No.
I like that RP though. I put a lot into it. It was a huge setup, because it's like sometimes the setups seem like they're a little too long and elaborate, but I really like that, because it's like then people kind of get interested because they're wondering what's going on, instead of just like having the battle just happen like where the soldiers just enter. It's like a huge setup to that. I kind of like that, though it takes a lot of time. Where is Blues? Is he even here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, he appears to be asleep from the sound of it.
Blues,
I'm right here.
what is going on, buddy? You seem out of it. Are you just not in a good mood? What's going on with you, Blues? Iona and I are concerned about you.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
I think Blues
That
is
does
about.
not sound good.
No. I think Blues might be going to blow his brains out, and that's not fun. That's not fun. It's not fun to have suicides.
It's a very strange automatic assumption that he wants to blow his brains out.
I'm just saying.
What the fuck up with you? That's your first thought.
I mean, you know, sometimes I go to the worst. I go to the worst case scenarios, and you know, because I mean, Blues has had misfortunes on this podcast. He got in a fight with his cousin on one of the episodes. He got Well, he wasn't on this podcast when he got super drunk, but I mean, bad things have happened to Blues and the site in general. So we got to assume the worst at all times, or at least that's what I like to think. I don't know. Keep your options open, Iona. You never know what's gonna happen. Never know.
That's where you're wrong. I always know what's going to happen. Pressing.
You ain't no psychic. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm having too much coffee now. I can never get the right balance. I'm either way too amped, or if I'm drinking something, I'm way too low energy. I've lost it. I'm losing my youth energy. That's what it is. And there's no substitute for it, except, well, if I worked out. If I lost 80 pounds, I'd be great. I'd be like, I need to lose 80 pounds, man. I've gained a little bit of weight over all this time.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Shut
up,
He comes
Blues.
back just for the fantastic
Yeah.
Blues.
Yeah, you just come back just to insult me, fucker. At least.
Yep.
So what's wrong with you, Blues? We
Okay,
need.
how much is 80 pound in stone, mate? So what's that divided by 13?
80 pounds and what?
Divided by 13.
I've
Put dumbass out here. What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I haven't.
probably like 6 point something.
My times tables only went up to 12.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you pretty much, Jesus Christ, you're trying to lose about half of my body weight.
Damn. So you're like what, 160? Jesus.
I have no idea. I'm about.
They don't
11
use
stone.
pounds.
We use pounds and stone. We just don't count the pounds up because it's a massive number instead of just saying.
Oh yeah,
I'm
they
like this
use
much.
the metric system even for weight. I forgot about that shit. Like I know
we just mix it up randomly. Mine does.
Yeah, it just would be weird to use the metric system, but it does make a lot more sense than what we use. But it's
more precise.
Yeah, and it's easy because all the units make sense.
Yeah.
But it's just not gonna happen. I mean, people here, they're never gonna.
It ain't gonna happen. People have decided it's not gonna happen, and therefore it's never gonna happen. If you're like, maybe we should give it a try, see what it's like. It would suddenly happen, and people would be like, oh, I like this. It makes sense.
Well, the smart people would want to change it, but there's a lot of dumb people who wouldn't. They would be like, this is un-American. Literally, you wouldn't think that, but trust me, they would. There would be like a whole bunch of people who would be like, there would be an anti-metric system movement in this country. I fucking guarantee, especially if there were any liberals involved in it. They'd be like, they're trying to change our way of life. And it's like, it's just a measuring system. Like, I get
They're gonna
it.
take away our rights.
Yeah, it would literally be anything in the country right now. It gets politicized pretty much. It's not good. I was listening to one of my favorite political economists, Mark Blythe. He's from Ireland, but he lives in America right now. And he besides having a fucking awesome voice. Like, he was talking about how everything's getting politicized in America, and it's true. So you can't even get anything done. Like a simple thing like changing the metric system would be a shit show. Just like it is to try to wear masks. Masks are politicized here. I mean, people think...
I have never seen a country of stupidity other than every motherfucker who didn't want to wear a mask.
Sometimes I forget my mask, but
Both locations, here and there, I'm sure, are doing the same shit. But the amount of people that come into the shop, put their mask down on their chin, so it's not covering their nose or mouth at all, and then walk around the shop coughing, I'm just like, shoot them. Just fucking shoot them now.
Well, yeah, I do feel bad for anybody who has to work in the service industry because you're literally like, they keep saying like, oh, it really only kills old people. I'm like, that's not true. That's not it.
As people are finding out recently, what it does is it fucks up your ability to survive other problems. COVID doesn't kill you. Everything else does because COVID goes, hey look, doors open, fuck them up.
Yeah. And then if you have asthma or high blood pressure, it can kill you. Like that's the thing. I have high blood pressure and I have asthma. So if I get it, I die. Let's just be
The
honest.
asthma is the reason I'm actually healthy because I have to run all the time to stop my asthma making me wheeze going up a set of
Yeah.
stairs.
Dude, I need to get more active. I've been in shape before. I just need to set time aside and just force myself to do it regardless of, because I'm like, oh, I got all this homework to do. Oh, I got this, so I never get to it. So I probably gotta
See what
switch.
you're making excuses. You're not managing your time.
Well, I do manage my time, but I always put it as the lowest priority, so it never gets done. So what I should do is,
That's because you don't want to do it then.
yeah. So what I should do is force myself to do it at the beginning of the day. So then I want to get it done quickly, because then I can get to other stuff and kind of burn the bridges, so to speak. Because if I don't get it done quickly, I might fail a class or something. I mean, it's the only really way to do it, I think. So I think I'll have to start doing that shit, and it'll probably work.
It might just be a case of you have to hold the priority until after the school.
Dude,
I'll be back later.
what happened, Blue? Oh, fucking. Okay.
Someone went down.
I don't know what's going on with that guy, man.
How he sounds, some shit's happened in his house because he don't sound right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on with him, man. I mean, I've told him what I would do in his situation, because there's not really a lot of good options at this point, man. He, I don't want to get into his personal life or anything on the show, but I mean, he's done good things, but he just never finished them, and he's just kind of boxed himself into a corner. And I'm like, this is the only real option you have left, unless you want to keep working these minimum wage jobs, which are basically, I mean, in this point, I mean, you're not even staying above water, unless you want to work yourself to death. I mean, as far as in America, it's you can't even have your own place if you work minimum wage. So it's just a fucking hellscape. And my honest opinion about blues is that, I mean, it's a trait for a lot of our peers, is they use this to distract themselves from their problems. I know I've done it before, and I think that's his blues problem. I'm not saying that this is out of a lot of hobbies, and this is probably a healthy hobby and constructive. It can be a constructive one, but if you put too much time into it and don't solve your problems, then that hobby just becomes a distraction.
That's why I limit my time to 20 minutes.
Well, and then he's afraid
while
that
it's me, I've kind of had to cap my time on this place.
Yeah, and then I think he's afraid that he'll lose a site, and I'm like, well, just make a new one. If you come back and it's all fucked up, just...
At the end of the day, yeah, Legends felt like it was built on memories as opposed to a solid system. Let's be fair, they even said they couldn't recover some of the stuff from beforehand, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, and another problem with the site is it was half finished when we started, and then everybody, at times when we had enough time, everybody was trying to build the parts that weren't there. So it just, that was a mistake. We should have advertised and got more people.
90% of the sites start off with fucking all people on it and a really shitty system. It's a case of, you make a first one and it's shit, and you build on it and you adapt it and you change it and you alter it. It's one of the reasons I wanted to push for stat fights to go on, so we can actually look at the stat system, see what's there, see what's needed at the moment, and actually build it into a site that people will look at the system and go, yeah, this looks like fun, I want to try this, I can play how I want to play, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I just don't know if the people here would want to do stats. Let's put
it this way. Let me put it this way. When I suddenly started making Shihai, and then you and Blues went stats in response, seemingly. Not necessarily, it's just timeline. Yeah. Suddenly Forte went stats, who never does. Heydog hasn't got time, he's on stats. You've got 7 stat members
Yeah.
No offense to Heather, she shows up on T-Box now and again, isn't really involved. Elijah has said he's done this time around, he's done his marathon of writing, he's not going to do it again. Who else we got on the site again?
There's Rikutsu, but
Who occasionally pops up in C-Box.
yeah. Yeah,
So
we don't.
you're kind of running out of members at this point. So you've
Yeah.
got most of the site members in the stat line that can be used. Even if it is a load of garbage, and basically if you have a slightly bigger PL and your opponent doesn't have Solar Flare, you win.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be problems with the stat system. I'm sure.
Okay, but we need to start using it to find them properly, as opposed to me just kind of theory crafting and going, hang on a minute, what about this? I'm pretty sure currently I know the strongest combination of classes. You couple that with being on Earth to get the Time Chamber and a copy of Solar Flare, and you're probably unstoppable.
Just the way it's built, that figures. You should probably drop the forum. Oh,
K-Dog wants it to go into Discord mode.
I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to. I knew somebody was writing in the chat. I just wanted to make sure who it was. Who uses a metric weight? Oh, that was earlier. You should probably drop the forum. Go fully C-Box Discord. That's where your passion is. It's not, dude. I can do forums. It's just I know what the problem is. It's a system that I'm implementing on Zeta where I think the idea of people writing 20,000 words and shit, I mean, that shit's over except for some rare people who just have the time. But the Zoomers, the younger kids, they're not going to want to do that shit or put that much time into it. And the old veterans, a lot of them have other shit to do. So I think
fucking lives, man.
Yeah, I think there should be an automated character action system, which is the baseline. And if you want to go above it, you can train or do other activities more. Like you can do more than that. But I think there should be like kind of like a burnout system. Like if you put out 20,000 words training, yeah, you can do that, but there should be like a consequence, like it affects your combat ability or something, because you're like working out too much, or I don't know, something like that. But it's like, yeah, I mean, there has to be some kind of improvements on the system. We can't keep going by the system that worked in like 2010.
In terms of gaining the stats, I'm not too fussed by how it works currently. My bigger complaint would be the actual combat side of thing. At the end of the day, the combat system is a bit trash fire, and the only reason we're gaining power level is to have the number over our heads while we're role playing. That's pretty much what that's about right now. That number is the more important thing than anything else, because unfortunately Dragon Ball Z relies too much on that number.
Yeah.
You take the power level away, and it suddenly becomes a lot more interesting. Because then you've got to try and play techniques or classes against one another. You've got to try and play style transformations as opposed to just number crunchy transformations. Don't get me wrong, the hype from a lot of them came back in the day when power levels were just skyrocketing during Frieza Saga, but even the shows stopped using power levels the second it went into androids.
Yeah.
It just stopped giving a fuck about what your power level was.
Yeah,
and then became more like the information you have, which is, it's a bit... Well, I get why they did that way around, but it just, there's a reason why I think I have a bigger love of Dragon Ball, where it was like, oh shit, he's got this style, I need to use this kind of style techniques to get around this, or I've got to use this tactic to go better around it. Combat style over sheer raw power.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the stat system I never focused on when I was an admin and stuff, so I barely know it. Like I kind of understand it, but I never...
Depending on a couple of things and how hard you want to go into it. Basically, the quick, dirty version is AP is God, provided you are similar power levels.
Okay.
If you have more AP, you can just dish out a damage and kill someone. There are possibly a way or two around it. I'm literally trying to build... Shihai's combat style I'm building is the closest thing I can think of that might be able to survive someone faster than him. Maybe.
Yeah, because you can push out more actions than the other character and kind of overwhelm them, basically.
And considering the dodging system is basically garb, or if someone has solar flare, you're just fucked, where you lose like half your actions for a turn.
So I mean, that's
You
why...
can use AP dodge. So basically, if you're trying to dodge the damage and not take damage, you burn yourself out of action points so quickly it's not even funny. If your opponent has more actions than you by like 2 times, you've just flat lost because you cannot hit them and they can throw attacks at you.
Yeah, dude. See, that's where I'm
They
going.
could be 10. They could be 10 PL to your 2 million.
They could still cause problems. Yeah, you know, this is why I wanted to go to a dice system, man. Like I haven't really worked out everything, but I have an idea of what I would do, and it would be a few dice rolls for certain different things, and you try to basically win as many dice rolls as you can for a certain outcome. But I don't know how. I'm not good. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not that good with stat systems compared to my other strengths, but I do think that a dice roll system based on like.
Honest to God, Broken Destiny had a very interesting system in that regard. It seemed like it rewarded different styles.
Yeah, that's kind of got me on the whole dice roll thing.
For a non-dice one, there is Summit's current system, which is currently being built and improved and it's constantly being tweaked and changed to try and keep it balanced. It has 1 or 2 major problems that it's always better to specialize in a stat line or 2 than to go all-rounder. If you go all-rounder, you are just fucked. Not always, but it certainly fucking feels like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if you're going to look at dice systems, I would say go look to the classic Dungeons and fucking Dragons. Because they've been working on that shit for decades, and they've kind of got it down to an art form now of how to balance certain stats off one another, what they're for and what they do.
Yeah, they use the
D20,
the 1D20, right? Or 1D20 system.
1D20. There are a load of like build it yourself websites. There's things like Fate, GURPS. Don't use GURPS. It's great, but don't use GURPS. Simple Worlds, just stuff like that. There's loads of like open-ended RP systems that could be bent to a Dragon Ball Z thing, but they would all lack that one thing that so many people kind of. I think a lot of the Z era watchers would always go, "Where the fuck is the power level? I want my edict to be bigger than that person's epine." With yes and no, Krillin, it needs to be simple to get hold of, but it needs to have depth. Otherwise, it becomes a case of one person's got this one advantage and it's all over. It's too simple. Like, for example, currently our system is too simple. It doesn't necessarily look it, but in context, it's too simple. And one number dictates everything. If that one number is higher, you have probably won. There's a couple of circumstances, but that kind of boils it down to that.
Yeah, the stats system's always going to be a problem. I don't think we have the right people to even...
The ironic thing is the stat system is always going to have a problem because it is post-by-play.
Yeah.
Yes, again, Krillin, it depends on the people you attract. There are people, for example, Broken Destiny has a reasonably complex system with different classes, builds, item equipments, movesets, etc. that make the game... What's the phrase someone told me? Magic the Gathering. Everyone knows it as a really hyper-complex game. If you get hold of a copy of the rules, it's a leaflet. The game itself is really fucking simple to play. The complexity comes with the interaction. The cards you take specifically will have specific things that can bend or break the rules or do something slightly different under certain circumstances. That's where the complexity needs to be in what the players build for themselves, and how that interacts with each player. Because base rules, piece of piss, you can understand it, you know how to fight, you can make a very simple, I have the key blast, character, and you're done. And then you can start either specializing or changing, or you can, for example, build an entire build around Spirit Ball, for fuck's sake. Here's my undodgeable attack. It does fuck all damage, but fuck am I missing? You can literally set up a build where you are I am going to hit. It won't hurt much, but I'm going to hit, motherfucker. And you can build tactics around that kind of thing. If I might not hit, but you know what? When it does hit, I'm going to hit you with the force of One Punch Man. Good luck dodging, scrub kind of tactics. You're basically relying on that crit to land, otherwise you're going to miss every attack. But when it lands, oh boy, they're in trouble. You can build motherfucking tank regen, which is actually where I'm going with Shihai. Shihai is going to be a tanky bastard to hurt. He will stand there, shrug off half of everything.
So you're gonna have you're gonna be able to take a lot of damage, basically.
The goal being to burn someone else's key power out, so they've lost all their big attacks. and then just slap them to death slowly. It'd be humiliating if I ever managed to beat someone with that tactic, because they're just going to get burned up and you sit there bitch slapping them back and forth with basic attacks, going, "Where's your power now, dumbass?" There is a whole range of potentially available.
Damn.
You want it to be, it's always the thing I know. It's simple to play, difficult to master is the goal line, and it's very difficult to land. Because in a post system that with no random variable, first turn is too powerful. And it always has been. Like, even when Anthro was learning to deal its system and before they put it into Summit, first turn was too powerful. Because you dictate the point.
Let me ask you this: as far as using a 1d100 dice, like say if a success roll you had to get an 80 or above, basically it would be a 20% chance, right? By those.
Currently, 20% chance if it's an 8 or above. The important thing there is things that will modify that result. So, for example, if you've got let's call a stat, martial skill, you need to land the blow properly. Which the higher you've got in that, the lower that 80 becomes. So you can start hitting on 60s or 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd need to, on the flip side, your opponent's dodge skills, spelled with a Z for style, would push the number back up. So if someone's got high enough dodge, and you've always got to include the one important factor. You're going to use 100. One always fails. 100 always succeeds. That way you can be completely outclassed and land an accidental hit.
Yeah,
and that'll be how. It's the Yajirobe cutting off Vegeta's tail, right? If Vegeta is expecting him to come at him, that's never going to hit. Never going to hit. Man dodged a fucking Destructor Disc from behind and was troll-lolling, dodged the fucking Spirit Bomb. It's never going to hit. That one moment of stupidity landed against all the odds.
Yeah, see, these are more the people we need in our side of the community is people who understand stats like you, because, like, talking to Blues or Forte...
There's a reason Blues openly called me the site's beta tester. I actually got a lot of stuff removed from Legends by going, "Can you just do this with it?"
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Can you do this with it? Ah, shit, it's broken. Like, myself and Pan, if you want to do a dice-based system, grab me and Pan, put us in a fucking room with you, and we'll talk out pros and cons of whatever you suggest.
All right.
We play. Hang on. Look at this is not my bookshelf. This is Pan's one. Let me just go. Let me just count the number of different dice-based RPGs on this bookshelf. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's 10 on that one shelf.
And so all those books basically just go over like the stat systems of certain.
They're for the players. They're to build a character, role play them in the world, how your stats work, what you can use them for, what powers you can pick based on what stats you have, which is an important thing. If you don't have the key control to do like Krillin's Omega Solar Flare, you shouldn't be able to buy it as a move. If you don't have the divine key to use Haikai, how the fuck can you buy it as a move? If you're too weak to punch someone hard enough to break a limb, how come you're allowed the limb breaker technique? Well,
I will say this.
So your build now matters for what you take as a fighting style.
You will like this. I did for Zeta. There is like kind of like a powers tree that I'm building. It's just like I'm just doing it kind of basically off the little knowledge I have, but it seems to make sense. Like it's basically built on powers, then it branches off to abilities, and then it'll branch off to techniques. And so you can be like very versatile, but you won't have the higher tier techniques you would if you like focused on certain things more. So you can be diverse, and there should be certain advantages to that. I just got to figure it out. Like you could have maybe some kind of strategy or tactic to where like if you're very versatile, you might be able to use that and turn the tables of a battle or something that way. So that way it's not one way is better specifically than another. Like, and,
that's down to game. You're always going to find that no matter what you do and balance things out, people are going to look at something and go, "That one is better," and everyone's going to run to that one for a bit.
Yeah.
Then you'll either nerf it, and everyone slowly drift back over, and it's like, "Oh, okay, I see."
Because I got the powers broken down. There's just normal key, which is just key. Then there's God key, Titan key, Magic key, Magica key. But and mental specialist and talent, but I'm still working them out. And those powers will break off and branch off into abilities. And so you could have a Cadogan character who has normal ki and magic ki. God ki and Titan ki are basically the same as ki. It just has certain modifiers. Like God ki, I guess you could have like a defense bonus against regular ki, and Titan ki, I made Titan ki to where you can kill. You'd have with Titan ki, you could basically have damage bonus against gods because Titans are basically god killers. I've kind of added that into the system because the Titans are a big role on Zeta. They kind of overthrew the gods. And so you can play a god, like right off the bat. But there's a big downside to that because you're automatically made enemies with one of the strongest factions on the site, even though you're in Dragon Ball. And these guys are like the last villains. So they'll send people after you to kill you, to try to kill you. So it's there's a lot of downsides to that. But I think this would work. I just got to work out. I just need more time. And the good news is once school ends, at the end of the year, I should have a little bit of... I could take the summer off to do it. Because it shouldn't have took this long. I should have had this site up a few years ago. But I always get distracted or... I have a bad tendency, if I find a site I like, I'll just become a member. And just like, yeah, this is just fun. So I have... yeah, I have my own fucking bad qualities that hold me back. Later, almost always because... Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it has to happen, man. It has to... But I will. You know what? I will take you two up on that offer. Because you guys seem to really know things about stats. And we need people that are very knowledgeable on it so you can kind of figure out what's wrong with it, because that's what we're lacking. And I don't care if we don't get along because we don't agree on things, but I always like to look for people, their talents or what they're good at, so it is what it is. But yeah, fucking, I don't know what's going on with Blues. It's...
We'll probably find out when he comes out. If he doesn't want to talk about it, he doesn't want to talk about it. I think that's the best thing to... If he's having some shit, just to be kind of... I think he wants a bit of normality.
Yeah, I'll probably talk to him in private. Because I told him what I would do. Well, I told him I could help him out. Because, being former Navy, I could talk to the recruiters in texts and be like, hey, this guy's a good guy. Not only is he a good guy, he's smart. He's kind of what you would want. And, like, Heather's afraid that he's going to be in a combat role. It's like, no, I know what jobs are in the Navy. He could work in Intel or, doing other...
Ain't for everybody, man. Blues wants to relax. That's kind of his fan. To chill out. Which is why he doesn't want to go hard in to get himself the money. It's going to kill his ass.
He needs to do something, though. Because I know what... He's falling in a trap and he doesn't realize it. But I can see it. And that trap is
when you're in that situation, it's the hardest thing to move.
Yeah.
He could be depressed. He could be depressed as well. I mean, this whole site kicked back on because he wanted a bit of a reunion to live back the good times.
Yeah,
a bit of a hellish happened.
You're right. And I told Blues, man, I'm like, I kind of feel bad that you guys as kids, because I didn't know how young they were. They lied about their age. I'm like, I kind of feel bad that your childhood was spent hanging out with toxic people like us instead of actually like finding other things to do, because I'm the rare exception where I came into this community late, like when I was in my 20s. Like I had gone through high school, I had a girlfriend, I had friends, and I'd done all that, but I'm a natural introvert. That's why I kind of could fall back into kind of my nerdness and just be a loner, because I've always been an introvert, but I'm very good at mimicking and being an extrovert. It's just people exhaust me. So I have that trait of an introvert that if I'm around people too much, they exhaust the shit out of me. Like, they don't give me energy like an extrovert. I think that's for them. They get energy from people. People take energy from me if I'm around them too much.
They get it from being in social situations. Yeah, I don't know how it works across the internet in general. I think that's more of an introvert's way of communicating and shit. But
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of regret that they were there, because Blue should have been out doing other shit, and that goes for Forte and the rest of them too. You know, and
Forte's on his job now, man.
well, Forte's always doing good shit. I mean, I don't get along with him a lot, but I can say that he seems like he knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's very smart. A little too smart sometimes, maybe for his own good, but it is what it is. I mean, a lot of people are very smart in this community, so. But he's like a super hacker, and that's what I'm afraid of. The fucker could probably like hack my computer if he really wanted to. So.
I mean, if I got given admin for about 5 seconds, I could put your name and address down in front of you.
Yeah, you see that kind of shit. Yeah, that's not cool. But yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like the Blues. Yeah, you're right. He really did just try to recreate, and you know it makes sense because he's always talking about like back in those days. And the amazing part is they remember a lot of shit I don't, because I was like drunk half the time. So it's like they say shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I did do that. You know, it's funny how people remember all this and I don't. That's why I don't. Sometimes I get it. I'm like, why the fuck does this person hate me so much? And then people remind me. It's like, oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Oh, okay. So I don't. My memory of all that shit is kind of fuzzy. So yeah, I don't. But I get, you know, I don't know. I don't know if maybe recreating Anthology was not the move to do. Like, I don't think that was.
OG Legend was caused by a small schism in Anthology, which led Blues and Forte to split off and make a mimic site effectively.
Yeah.
It's how a lot of the Dragon Ball community seems to go. It's this site split into this site. There's an entire like family tree.
Yeah, it's a weird love-hate relationship. Like, it's kind of weird how much people talk shit about each other, but then they like miss the old days, which is kind of weird. Like, how can you miss the old days, but you're like enemies with these people, or you don't, or you don't?
Very simple.
Very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very simple. Basically, I'm just messing with something to see if it works. I'm doing something else. It's recording. Oh no, I don't want it to record. I want it to live. Edit your fucking piece of software. Anyway, I'm trying to change a piece of software out for another piece of software, and it's not having fun with it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, basically, I'd say it's more of a British thing than an American thing to shit all over something and afterwards go, what a good time. But despite how much you can complain and hate things, there are still good bits, and as time fades, you remember the good bits.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be that, man. Yeah, I just
And there are people who still remember negatives way too much, and you can tell when someone remembers negatives or something because they are just filled with venom and hate, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I can be nice, but I can also be mean. I can switch it off and on, you know, and
You can just be drunk is mostly when you turn. You seem mostly normal, and then you're drunk.
Yeah, I'm not as but I don't get as drunk as I used to, which is a good thing. It's good. Jesus Christ, back in the day, I still do get a little bit sloppy sometimes, but it is what it is. But yeah, this could be a problem. I might actually need to. I'm going to talk to Blues about this because I don't think he's going to go back over this episode anytime soon because it's still going. But I think
honestly,
what
I would give him a minute to sort himself out before you try and bother him over it. It might be some family stuff he doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah. No, I was talking more about the site in general because what I'm honestly afraid of is that Blues is going to get way too comfortable with the way things are because I think he's almost happy with the way it is. And I'm like, but I wanted to take it so much further than this. And I think that's the only real thing that me and him might disagree on, because I'm always, I think I'm over ambitious, but I want to see how far I can take this. I'm just lacking the time right now again. Oh, there he is. We were just talking about you. You finally made it. No, I was saying that I
Come
think
back,
that
dude.
yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're still doing the pre-show dojo, and me and Iona have had a great conversation. It turns out that when we talk to each other, could be pretty productive. And Iona and Pan are really good at stat systems, which I've heard of before, but I need somebody I can talk to about stats that understands it, that can explain it to me, because I'm not good at stats. So Iona is definitely really good at that kind of stuff. In a way that me and you aren't, Blue. Because when me and you talk about stats, Blues, it's like we're not our stats aren't our strong point. Let's just be honest about it. It's not. We're good at stories and making plots, kinda. Sometimes sometimes they're better than others, but we're more the creative side of things. We need more people who are good with stats. We really do. And Iona and Pan are good at stats. So there you go. Because I might have him and Pan go over the Zeta shit, because he's good with dice systems too. And I needed somebody I could explain the dice system to, and he could explain it back to me to confirm that I'm not like making a mistake. Because I kind of know that like a 1D 100 dice is percentage, but I need to make sure that I need to double check with somebody who knows. Because I'm going to be using a lot of 1D 100 at the beginning, because it just makes the most sense to me. I think I'm going to have like 5D 100 dice for different things. I'm glad that like the sound of death is coming from Blues right now. I think he went to hell. So
This fucking creaky ass door.
it's literally the sound of hell.
It's literally my front door.
Yeah, that's a problem. You might need to get some WD-40 on that motherfucker. And if you do it,
This
you can.
door is 100 years old. I have to replace the whole goddamn door.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
It's not just the oil.
I feel you. But no, what we were talking about, getting back to you, Blues. I wonder if what is your ultimate goal, or where do you see like Legends being in a year or two? Because what I'm afraid of is that you might get too comfortable. I think you kind of think of us as kind of like family members, and you're kind of happy with the family you have. But are you really wanting to expand out a lot further in the long run?
I mean, it'd be nice, yeah.
All right. Because
It'd be nice. But I mean,
because right now,
if we advertise and we don't get any new members, and it just is what it is
Forte really doing his job though, as far as advertising? See, there should be like some kind of ability for these admins to have a receipt of what they're doing. Like, hey, your job, because see, there should be a specific person who's just, that's what they do, is advertise. Like Krillin could be the advertiser. I give him stats or pay him somehow in stats.
Krillin is a productive member of society. He can't do that.
I'm using him as an example. Make somebody specifically the advert, because it's such an easy job. You copy and paste the HTML advertisement on sites, and also, I don't know, whatever you do for Discord. I don't know how the hell that Discord advertisement works. Forte explained it to me, but I'd have to actually sit down and read it. You know, like how it works. I think it's just like you search for like a community and you find it, basically. I think that's the gist of the Discord advertisement.
Yeah.
And I think what probably is going to happen Since advertisement will be the most important thing after everything else is set up, me and you will just get together. We'll do the advertisement campaign if we can't find admins or mods to do it for us. You know, it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, we need specific people for specific jobs. I mean, if you want to know one of the problems with why our staff, the staff that we had, kind of fell apart, is because we could do anything we wanted to. So if I wanted to be the GM wizard, I could. Well, somebody else would be the stats wizard, but because we have no titles or purpose, we kind of would step over each other, or get in each other's way.
I mean, that and the giant apparent argument that happened, but
yeah, I admit that I might have took things a little too far, but at the moment I was stressed out and pissed off because I felt like some of the staff were defending members who were like intentionally trying to like sabotage the saga, or at least make it more difficult. But I should have. Well, it was just a shit from the start because I should have talked to. But see, me and Ace we weren't talking at the time because we could have made. We needed to make the saga battle a little differently because it wasn't even going how it was supposed to go. But because it was pure RP, there was no way to enforce that by stats. But Braum was supposed to be the saga boss, to where it was going to be an uphill fight, and it just wasn't like that. So it was a miscommunication. None of us were getting along, and it just turned into a shit show. So it was everybody's fault, really. I mean, I can't blame it on a specific person. And while I do defend I still think it was okay to kill a character or injure them if they don't show up when they say they are to. Maybe.
In real life, to bed, you do not murder someone's character for real life fucking murder. That's 101. As anyone who has run a site or run DMs for a GM game,
you know what?
will tell you, they physically can't make it. They fucking can't make it, and you move on.
You know what? You're right.
Murking someone is just not cool.
I had this talk with Blues, and we had talked about what you said, and you were right. You're right. If they were not in the battle or in the midst of battle, there would have really been no justification. But they were in the middle of the battle. Like, there was no way to retcon them out there without, well, basically just retconning them out of it. So
at the point you were discussing this and saying people weren't there was a side thing you could have been doing in that spot. So you still could have used the runtime, or rather the play session, to have done a mini event, got some stuff done, pushed some plot forward, and just gone, right, fuck it, next week we'll resolve this battle.
Yeah, I think we might have... You were just
so intent on finishing that one event so much that you kind of,
Well, we wanted to move on this Yeah, it was that, and I kind of pressured myself into keep moving the plot forward, and maybe we should have gave it more time. I think I was more afraid that it was going to fall apart or stall out than that, and so I was willing to be a little bit more harsh, I guess, which maybe wasn't the right move, but it felt like it at the time. And
see, from the other end, from where we were sitting, it looked like you were just getting pissed off at A's and wanted to kill his character off.
No,
that's how it looked.
Yeah, I could see how it could look like that. And if I had a cooler head, I should have probably have done it a little differently. If nothing else, I could have knocked out their characters. I really had people thought I just had made that decision on a whim. I had thought it out. That's why I only killed Ace and left Kakasu alive. But I don't even think it would have been a problem if I just knocked them both out. It would have been a lot harder for them to put an uproar. So maybe next time if that happens, I won't kill off their characters.
No, you're punishing their character for player real life issues. That's the problem. You're blurring the OC-IC, and that's where everyone will kick off about it.
Yeah, I guess you might be right about that. You have a point about that. And I'm not like,
It's always the problem.
and I'm not a GM guru. Like I'm basically a rookie at it. So I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm an expert at it. I'm a seasoned RPer, but yeah, I'm not like a veteran GM. So you probably do have a point with that, to be honest.
Like the quickest way to resolve that one would have been to talk to the people in that. Well, not in that situation, because by the time it happened, it was too late. Prior to that happening, obviously you're in an event you can't not run, as it were. You've got to move the event forward one way or the other. Whoever's currently in it, as you finish the previous one, have a quick note of, if you can't make it, how do I write you out? What do I put down as the excuse for your character having to back off or back out?
Yeah.
So that we can keep running. And that way you have a preloaded thing. If real life shit hits the fan, Ace's character at the time goes, shit, I'm out of power, I've got to back up for a bit and recharge, I'll be back soon, hold him off, other step in.
Yeah, I never even thought of that because I didn't have the knowledge available to me. Because I'm looking at it as either it got to get done. I never even thought about doing that because that might have worked. I mean, it would have worked better. So
that would be my pro tip in running any saga on C-Box. Because it's harder to do the whole. If you've got this much time period on the forum, you have a good reason we skip posts. C-Box events kind of just happen when they happen, and if real life gets in the way, you're fucked. Having what's the excuse for your character to not be in this one? So even if it's just a forum post somewhere, go, right, guys, I need the excuses. Land them up here so I can post them if you're not available.
Yeah,
and suddenly you have reasons why their character aren't there, as opposed to just some bizarre reason I didn't show up half through the fight. Fuck it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never.
Oh my god! What the fuck? I'll be right back again.
All right, man. Nah, Blues is gonna return. Yeah, I never even thought of that. And to be fair, I didn't even have the knowledge to fucking have those options available. Because like I said, I'm basically a rookie as far as running. I know how to set up a story and I know how to structure it, but running it is a completely different thing. Especially when things go wrong. So my default thing was
as long as you actually learn.
Yeah, I'm willing to learn.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, I'm willing to learn. I mean, I'm not that fucking stubborn. My biggest problem is I'm a very outspoken person when I get hyped up and shit. So yeah, it is but it's almost like built into my persona in this community anyway. So sometimes I think I take it a little too far, but behind the scenes when I can actually talk to somebody, yeah, I mean, I gotta leave myself at least open to learn and shit and get better. Because I'm like I said, I can admit I'm not really good at stats at all. And GM, I could set up things all day. Like I'm really good at that, but when things go wrong, yeah, I lack the experience or even to even come up with better solutions sometimes. So of course I go to the default of knocking one of them out and killing them. I mean that's almost like.
Why is that your default?
I don't know, because
that's what threw me. That's your default reaction of just fuck these guys.
Yeah, it literally was like that because I was you got to understand how angry I was at the time with things going on because I felt like people were stalling it or just not giving a fuck, and I'm like, and I had warned people like, yes, this could be a possibility that you die. And then, of course I go to that right off the bat, which
people don't mind it if, they fuck up in an RP, they're out over their heads and their character dies. That's when we accepted, we might die in the event. Being not available to defend yourself is a whole different matter.
Yeah. I can't even be mad at Ace for being mad because, I mean, I even admitted to Blues I was a little salty that he killed off Moth Violet. Like, I think Blues is actually surprised how mad I was about it, but it's like, I mean, that's a different story. It was so unexpected, and I was building up to something, and yeah, it just wasn't
Hey, motherfucker, it was you that decided to blow up the goddamn
Well,
ESF
Yeah.
headquarters.
Yeah, yes, and I admitted that I have a bad tendency of just randomly starting events because I like surprising people. But yeah, you're right. I should have.
He was like fucking up bits of Earth. What can we say?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a. I took it a little too far. I didn't need to blow up. I honestly wanted to. I had that urge of destruction. I'm like, I
You,
felt.
you, you just like blowing up bits of Earth because you don't like everyone being on Earth.
No, I don't. I used to hate. I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, I used to fucking really hate a lot of shit that went on Earth. But I don't know why. I just did. I guess because I associated Earth with bad things. They were trying to thwart my plans, so I always had a negative view of Earth. And space was like the Wild West, where I could get away with a lot of shit. So I always loved space. Like in fact, I told Blues and Zuka if they ever wanted to become Saiyans and we just wanted to fuck with people and be members of a site like say Broken Destiny. Well, they don't have a space, but let's use a different site as an example. Let's say if Arena came back online and I was like, hey, you want to have some fun? I'd be like, let's all just go on this site because I know for a fact most DBZ sites there's nobody in space, and it's like, hey, let's have some fun. How about the three of us just go into space and just take it over? See what happens. The three of us using our talents together, we could just fucking turn over the site. Because I know what would happen. People would join up that shit. They would see all the fun we're having in space. We'd have a Saiyan army built. And then we'd just siege Earth and kill them all. That would be fun. If we did that as players, that would be exciting to me. And there's not a lot of things that excite me as much anymore in this community because I've done a lot. But that would be fun.
It's time for me to crash out. Good night, boys.
All right, man.
See ya.
Yeah, Iona and I had a really good talk. I'm like, I almost feel bad sometimes that I give him such a hard time now. He really knows a lot about stats, and he's not a bad person when you talk to him. So. You live and you learn. The pre-show dojo's been pretty good. This has been a good episode. I might actually go back and listen to this one. We were kind of worried about you because you were getting pissed off. And, there must be some shit going on with you, but we could talk about that later if you want. Because I think now that I'm awake and I'm ready, we could do the show eventually. I'm feeling pretty good now. My spirits are up. I needed to have that conversation. I don't know. It's nice. Now I want some beer. I had my coffee and my Adderall. Now I want some beer. I like how we just talk about drugs like nonchalantly on this show. Like we are the ultimate scumbags of this community, and I love it. It's just it makes it fun because we don't really take our. I mean, we do kind of joke around and And sometimes when we're angry, we'll say, like, we're better than this certain person at certain things, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. We kind of know. It's kind of hard to take yourself seriously when you're basically... We're playing the digital version of playing with anime toys, basically. Like, hey, I'm playing a moth girl, and Blues would be like, I'm playing an angry Saiyan. And it's like... it's really hard to take that seriously, but...
Yeah.
I posted one of our C-Box chats on my Facebook. People find that shit hilarious. Because I have Zuka on there and Will, and they find the shit fucking hilarious. That's why I like, nobody posts the funny shit that I post, so I have to post it myself. To my friends in oh well. Yeah, I like this cover. It's fucking good. Let's see. Let's go to Twitter for a minute. We're going to keep the pre-show... Like, you guys have got... Let's see how much content these fuckers have got. Extra content. Extra content. How long is this? This pre-show dojo has been going on for an hour. So we're gonna have to stop this. It can't keep going on like this. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to end this, guys, because I mean, this isn't even the full show. Like, this is the show right now. Jesus, we got on for an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll stop this one, and when we're ready, we'll start the real show. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a very productive pre-show dojo, I believe.